Unveiling Strong Delusion, Video 39, Hebrew Cognates That Shouldn't Exist, Part 3a. After posting Part 3 of Hebrew Cognates That Shouldn't Exist, I got a lot of interesting comments and decided to make this quick addendum video. 7. Naal, cognate with nail. Addendum. In discussing the naal nail cognate, I mentioned shoemakers or cordwainers and the science fiction writer Cordwainer Smith, who in real life went by Paul Linebarger, and in 1948, while a professor at the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, wrote the book Psychological Warfare, which you can get for free online. I should have referenced Baltimore Fats, who has made a number of interesting connections between Paul Linebarger, Baltimore, the location of Johns Hopkins, and other things. He also has found great connections between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and hoaxcraft. I mentioned that the Chinese revolutionary hero Sun Yat-sen, who overthrew the Qing dynasty, adopted Linebarger as his godson. Before making the video, I should have done a few minutes more research because I now have found a great connection between Sun Yat-sen, U.S. intelligence, Wuhan, China, and the police state disease. According to the Ministry of Truth, quote, the Wuchang Uprising was an armed rebellion against the ruling Qing dynasty that took place in Wuchang, now Wuchang district of Wuhan, Hubei, China, on 10 October 1911, which was the beginning of the Xinhai Revolution that successfully overthrew China's last imperial dynasty. And continuing from the Ministry of Truth, quote, Sun Yat-sen was traveling in the United States and, in the same month, Sun returned to China to participate in the provisional presidential election and was elected. And new quote, Sun Yat-sen read about the start of the revolution he started in the Rocky Mountain News when he was at the Brown Palace Hotel in Denver. Retired history professor John Yee told Xinhua in a recent interview. As soon as he heard, he rushed back to China and was named the first president of the country. And that's from the Global Times of China. And it's interesting that Professor Yee said he was named the first president and the Ministry of Truth said he was elected. In Denver, Colorado, a hotbed of Freemasonry and occult practices with the 303 area code and so much more, like mass shootings and Ted Bundy escaped from nearby Aspen. And I think the Beatles stayed at the Brown Palace Hotel. No coincidence that the Chinese Revolution started in Wuhan, or that Sun Yat-sen, the father of modern China, had a direct connection to U.S. intelligence through Paul Linebarger and Paul Linebarger's father, who worked intimately with the Chinese government for a long time. So it seems that U.S. intelligence created and ran the entire lockdown and destruction of personal liberties, and probably with the aid of Chinese intelligence agencies and intelligence agencies across the plain. From Paul Linebarger's book, The China of Chiang Kai-shek, quote, Sun lived with his elder brother in Honolulu on 2 occasions, and finally, after a period of discontent and rising turbulence at home, went to study medicine in Hong Kong. He was the outstanding student in the school because of his already fluent command of the English language, and was graduated as one of the very first Chinese physicians to be trained in Western medicine. So the father of the Chinese Revolution that started in Wuhan spoke English fluently and practiced Western medicine, and had super close contacts to U.S. intelligence. How convenient, said the church lady. Another interesting item brought to my attention by viewer R. Fortel has to do with language and astrotheology and the Russian word for year, God. I had to double check that, as I speak only a few words of Russian like net and da, and sure enough, the Google confirmed that in Russian they say God for year. The Google also translated the Russian word God as year, annum, summer, 12-month, winter, sun. So we could read Sun Yat-sen as God Yat-sen, and you wonder why schools don't teach languages or thinking. Thank you for watching, and thanks for the great comments.